Hello and welcome everyone. So this is our Impact Tuesday session, and today in particular, I think I'm extremely pleased that we're going to be highlighting three really wonderful startups that are doing their bit to change the world. So just to give you a background, Impact Tuesday is Professio's monthly impact series where we engage with startups in the impact space that are making a difference either to social or environmental causes. Today, essentially, we're focusing on the World Summit Awards, or WSA for short. It is a global competition to uncover cutting-edge examples of how information and communication technologies are impacting society in a positive way. It's a very unique award system, selecting and promoting local digital innovations that improve society. It's been running for over 20 years, and it has a very, very rigorous process of selecting global winners from 182 participating countries, where local experts like me nominate a national winner in each of the 8 WSA categories. So today I have with me the Malaysian winners for the business and commerce category, Audrey Zain from Go Baraka, the winner for smart settlements and urbanization category, Locum Apps, we have Tiffany, and in the category of environment and green energy, we have Willie from Global Chera. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invitations.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I think that today is very special because not only were you guys the Malaysian winners, but after having gone through 2 very, very rigorous shortlisting rounds, you were actually each selected as the top 5 globally in each of your categories. Congratulations to all 3 of you and well done. I'm really so proud of you.
Thank you.
Let me start off, okay, by kind of getting some background because the WSA process is quite a lengthy process. And I think we have engaged with you for a long time. So before we actually get into the process, perhaps I can get each one of you to give us a short background of who you are, what your company does, and just maybe a 1-minute introduction from each of you. Okay, why don't we start with Tiffany?
Hi, so I'm Tiffany, as you're aware. What we do at WSA, which is the company that launched Locum Apps, is that we connect healthcare staff with healthcare facilities for part-time vacancies, which are known as locum jobs. This allows hospitals who are going through any kind of shortfall in manpower to be able to very quickly, efficiently, and also safely fill in any kind of vacancy with fully qualified candidates. So what we're doing with the WSA is that we are in the smart settlements and urbanization category, where hospitals, and especially in main urban areas, find themselves facing high fluctuation in patient numbers, as well as a huge movement of clinical staff moving towards very core areas and perhaps not being able to meet the demands of urbanization. So because our app enables them to pick up jobs quickly and on demand, we are able to suddenly meet these needs. And this makes it much easier, also providing them more income and opportunities to continue to stay in the areas that they choose to live in.
Thank you, Tiffany. Shall we go to Willie now and Global Chera?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name is Willie. So I'm the co-founder and managing director of Global Chera. So we are actually an impact startup that's based in Sabah. So what we do actually, we integrate the organic waste management and the production of female fertilizers into a sustainable solution supported by IoT. Means that actually what we focus on is that organic waste from agricultural industries. So they can be crops, fruits, vegetable, and etc. So we collect from farmers, come into our system. We're going to treat them to remove their acidic elements before we can refine them as a feed meal and fertilizers that can be reused in the agricultural industry. Actually, what we try to propose is that we want to have this waste circular solution to replace waste disposal methods such as landfill and incineration that have been widely practiced in the agricultural industry in Malaysia and even in Southeast Asia, or I would say in global scale, right? So that is something that we want to do. and we want to help the farmers to recycle the waste and also receive those feed and fertilizers in a subsidized price as compared to the market rate. And that is what we try to do to build a circular economy for the future of agricultural industry.
Thank you, Willie. Can we go to Audrey now?
Okay, hi everyone. I'm from Gobaraka. Basically, our platform is trying to change and revolutionize the way people engage in charitable giving, people and companies. So if you see a lot of platforms can collect donations, Gobaraka is basically a fintech solution that can trace donations from source to redemption using by converting donations into digital assets. So what happens is we can track the flow of funds from donor right to the beneficiaries. So what we enable is trusted transactions, and also the medium is actually our purpose controlled e-vouchers. That means beneficiaries only use the donations based on their needs and at the time that suits them. So that's, yeah, basically in a nutshell, that's what we do. We convert donations into traceable e-vouchers. So what we're trying to do is to connect the ecosystem in the third sector, the ecosystem of funds for good, CSR funds, donations, so that it provides a way for all stakeholders in a program to actually use Gobaraka to trace funds, number one, to track the program success in terms of beneficiary reach, in terms of redemptions, and also to enable more transparency and traceability in transactions. Yeah. So for WSA, we are one of the winners in business and commerce, because Gobaraka is, at the end of the day, a payment fintech that engages unbanked populations, underserved communities who don't have bank accounts, a way to redeem donations to be used for their needs. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Maybe I can start with what inspired all of you to actually enter the WSA Malaysia competition. Who would like to go first? Willie?
Yep, maybe start from me. So actually, I would like to, the first thing, right, is because what we have our solution, right? We are integrated solutions, and we want to do is that we want to not only just within Sabah or within Malaysia, but we want to utilize the platform, the opportunity, what can offer from WSA to connect with other change maker who maybe could be our potential collaborators, potential business partners or investor, to share our solution in global scale. Because in our technology, right, we are not just a machine, but we have a digital solution to connect. So with different type of machine in different places, it can connect with each other, so that we understand that we can convert more waste into feed and fertilizers, and to build the circular economy beyond the region, but also global scale. So that's why that's something that I found that WSA have that opportunity that I can try to apply, of course, and hopefully we can see that more in the future with WSA.
Thank you, Willie. Audrey, would you like to go next?
Yeah. So our platform is, what we want to achieve is inclusion from underserved communities based on our background, and also what we try to achieve. So we feel that a lot of startups claim to hit SDG goals and all this, but applying through WSA is actually somebody who challenges you to justify what do you mean when you hit all these goals. How do you justify it? What are your mechanisms? So we feel that WSA is a good platform to actually benchmark us, rather than we claim and say all these things, but there's no other body to say, yeah, you did justify your SDG goals. So number one, that's the most important thing for us. And also the problem that we're trying to solve is not just Malaysia, it's global. So we're quite keen to see, like, do the international juries identify, do you see the same problems in your countries as well? Because the third sector, donation sector, is a problem. The non-transparency and the lack of accountability is a global thing. So we wanted to see, how do juries understand our point of view and our business case. So yeah, that is actually for benchmarking. We don't want to be like the Malaysia, like jago kampung, we're too localized. We want to see whether we have some global need for these kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really interesting that you say, because I think that with every single one of you, what you said just apply. Benchmarking and validation of the SDGs. I think there are very many different types of competitions out there, and the expectation is that you just throw in like as many SDGs as you can without really understanding. So that is a very interesting point. Thank you, Adri.
Thank you.
Tiffany, maybe I'll twist the question a little bit differently for you, right? Now I know you went through the application process, but when you initially applied, what was in your mind in terms of why you thought this was a suitable competition for We Assistant Local Maps?
So I think what we've been doing has always been very purpose driven for us. Every time we, as a team, as a startup team, when we talk amongst ourselves, why do we feel motivated to come in and build this thing that has never existed before, as far as we knew? It was always boiling down to the impact that we would leave. We would take reviews and feedback very seriously from the people who use our platform. And those were the motivating factors for us. But at the same time, we had all these sustainability, not in the ESG sense, but from a very financial sustainability aim that other people would throw at us and other investors would ask for. And they would say, we want to make sure your business is growing in a certain way. But at the end of the day, we still wanted to build this business and build this app because we wanted to leave an impact. So ultimately, when the invitation to apply for WSA came about, for me, the first thing I did was I went on the website and I started scrolling through these other companies. And I was very inspired the more I dived deep. Every year there would be a list of winners. And reading the impact and reading the kind of contributions that every country would make and every company would leave made me feel that, I want to be the kind of company that's able to proudly say we are supporting something that's impact driven. We want to be able to be a company with very clearly driven purpose, and obviously being financially sustainable as well. And this application process, seeing the questions that they asked, completely showed that outcome that we wanted anyway, which is, are you financially sustainable? Are your aims clear? And is the impact that you have already done in your local area something that shows that? So I think that was very validating for us.
Yeah. And you make a very good point. I think that many startups go into competitions, and some are easier than others. Some just require a pitch deck or things like that. But I think that the way the WSA competition is structured, it actually looks at every aspect of the business, from the why did you start right up to what have you achieved tangibly, and not just anecdotally, so to speak, right? Now, if I can jump to perhaps Willie, right? Because I think one of the criteria for WSA was that, number one, of course, you align with at least one of the SDGs, two, that you can show local impact, and three, and most importantly, that it is digital. Now, I know through the process of application, there was a lot of Q&A about where is the digital aspect of your business, because it seems more to be a biological process or a waste management process. And that was something that you actually had a little bit of difficulty in trying to articulate. And so I want to actually use Global Chira as an example, right, to show how all of these processes actually use ICT as an enabler, even though it is not the platform itself that is the differentiation factor. Can you just walk us through, Willie, right, how you incorporate digital into what it is you do with your waste management process?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, right, waste management, regardless of what kind of waste management, right, waste management is always not the most sexier, industry, and people kind of have lack of understanding about it. And but it's still a very crucial thing because always they are like the person behind to settle the issue that one we have, all the waste that we have, and it have been a so-called very traditional business, I would say in the humankind history. Yeah. So I think that is why that a lot of in waste management, right, they have facing the issue is that they don't know how to use technology. The technology, regardless, is using as a platform, as a software, or as a machine, right? So they actually increase a lot of inefficiency and also cost for the business itself. And that's why that when I first started Global Chira, this is something that I want to solve. Not only just using a traditional way, but also combining with the technology that we have. But of course, I not come from waste management industry before that. I not come from agriculture industry before that. I actually work with my partners who are actually come from technology background. But on the other hand, they don't have any business acumen in that sense, which I think believe that our two winners all mentioned about this, the sustainability is very crucial, especially in WSA point of view, beside the technology. But of course, how we're going to utilize the technology that we actually have three main things. First is a robotic process automation, or short form is RPA, the temperature sensor, and also the server. So three to add together to build the whole system, because we want to change the landscape. We want to change the waste management landscape by introducing a sustainable circular economy by using the technology and using the server to combine all the procedures from treatment, segregation, treatment until refinement, and also the production of the female fertilizers into one. And that's need the server, because most of the time in waste management we are using more labor-intensive methods or hybrid methods. But we want to lower down the breakdown between the procedures, the four procedures we have mentioned. So using the technology, using the server to control the robotic part, the automation part, and also the temperature sensor, it will be much easier for us to increase the efficiency and achieve the economy of scale. Maybe I want to add on here is that it's very crucial to tell people the proof of concept, right? People actually initially, most of the people don't think about waste management. You use machine, how you're gonna, cut down the cost, how you make sure that it can be really that efficient as compared to the traditional way. But this is something they want to prove. And I appreciate WSA to let us to understand more about how you need to tell people, especially you are not come from a very famous or very trending industry, but like waste management, we also can apply technology tools to build the business and bring a revolutionary change to the landscape. Yeah, that's the best thing that I would say for WSA to have that Global try to introduce ourselves in the technology point of view.
Thank you, Willie. And that's exactly, I think, one of the things that I wanted to showcase to everyone, because I feel that there's a lot of misconception in terms of information and communication technology or digital, the expectation that it's always software or it's apps or things like that. But really, whether it's AI or whether it's software or whether it is IoT, all of these are considered digital technologies, and digital technologies are not necessarily standalone technologies. In especially your case, it's an enabling technology. It is, it brings together all of the processes and analyzes it so that it actually helps you improve the efficiency of the process. And so, that's why it is important, I think, to understand that digital does not mean an app or does not mean a software. Right? Thank you for explaining that. Perhaps with Audrey, I think, Audrey, can you walk us through the process of when you first were invited to actually submit an application, to completing it and going through the process before you got to global nomination? Could you walk us through basically how you prepared for it and what did you do?
Okay. If I were to go back, okay, I think we met during one of demo day one of the demo days, right? So that's the first time that I met you, Renu. So you the accelerator program actually nominated us to be on WSA. So I think after that we got the portal to submit the applications, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so that's the first time that we actually had to modify a bit of our pitches as based on I think we went through a few drafts with you, Renu, to refine it further to angle it in such a way that really answers the questions, anticipate what the juries want to know. So that was quite helpful for us because coming from the accelerator program, they're more into pitch decks. You're talking to investors. So for WSA, you're actually talking to impact people, yeah, people who not necessarily just want to know about the the business side or the tam som sam and all that. So these are people who want to see what's your real impact, how do you measure it, the baseline and all those things. So in that sense, by answering, like really participating in answering it, really focusing on really answering it rather than just submitting, and it really refined our business process as well, because for us, for every competition that we try to enter, we do not give a generic answer to things. We try to see who are the juries, who are the people, what does the award try to achieve. So in that sense, I think Proficio and Renew gave us a very good guideline, and quite stringent as well. So we're quite happy with the win, because there are some competitions that are not so quality. So I would say that WSA is a very quality competition in the sense that the answers are the questions are very well thought of, and the juries are also from a background that I mean, you can't really, excuse my word, you can't BS them, like yeah. So in terms of process, yeah, that through the portal we kept refining, and we appreciate the chance. I mean, I appreciate the chance to edit the questions. I mean, make it better. I mean, you asked us to give more videos, explain further. It's not a one size fits all application. So because our platform involves multiple users, vendors, donors, beneficiaries, so it could be quite difficult for the juries to understand the interface. How will beneficiaries look at it? How will donors look at it? So you advised us to do a walkthrough for each user. Yeah. So, and yeah, I think the what's most interesting in is the session at PNet, the Malaysian finals, right?
Finals.
Yeah,
Finals.
so, yeah. So that was very well handled and very well organized. Not just saying it. I feel that it was very well organized, and the judges were also quality. I mean, that's how we first met Azlina Penet, and the friendship and the support is until now. So we appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, we're very happy to meet other impact startups. We're very impressed with the quality of the startups under WSA Malaysia as well. Like Tiffany, Willie, I think I spoke to you, Tiffany, a couple more times, right? Yeah, so we feel the passion. We feel the passion because we have been in other accelerators that they say they have SDG impact goals, but then when you listen to their business proposal and case, right, where is the SDG bit? Where's the inclusion bit? So they just put it there on their decks, and I mean, if you are doing an impact startup, it's quite an insult if you ask me. I mean, remember Anita, the Yasan SDG, she was quite pissed at startups who just talk about SDG, but where is it, right? Yeah. So we feel that as well. I mean, after the WSA thing, we had to go through a stringent process we're not very happy with startups who simply simply talk about SDG goals when you're not actually living it. Yeah. So the WSA win is very meaningful for us because it sets us apart from people who self-claim and people who are selected by WSA, like, yes, really is benchmarked by international juries. Yeah, so that's been the whole process. And after that is the Vienna selection, right? Which was a very friendly crowd. The whole room, I mean, they're waving, they're very friendly. Yeah, I lead the process from end to end. They're very supportive.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things I love about the WSA community.
Yeah.
Whether it is the online jury from Malaysia, or whether it was the judges and selection committee for Malaysia at the Malaysia finals, um, everyone is passionate about supporting startups in impact,
Yeah.
and they celebrate those that are actually making a big difference.
Yeah.
And so I think that, I'm glad you mentioned that it has helped validate you and your impact on an international scale, because it's exactly what it is. Rather than self-claim or self-proclaim, it is something that has gone through many rounds. In total, really, it's 4 rounds. It's Malaysian online, Malaysian finals, global online, global grand jury, and then you've got your final one will be in India, where the overall global winner will be crowned. So that's 5 rounds, right? So
Yep.
to get to this stage is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's for the ones that are really passionate. So thank you for articulating that.
Yeah. Sorry, if I can just add a little bit, because we feel that we speak to some investors, right? They don't really care about the impact. What's the money? What's your growth? So we feel more at home with WSA, because you're talking to people who actually appreciate what you're trying to do, as compared to people who don't appreciate impact. They say yeah. You know. So where's the money? So when you talk to communities like WSA, you're appreciated for what you're trying to do. It feels very genuine. It's very heartwarming. It's very encouraging. Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. Tiffany, I think your experience, actually all 3 of you, but maybe Tiffany more than anyone else, your experience through WSA from the perspective of first submitting your application and the category that you chose compared to the category that you actually won is actually very different, right? So maybe if you can walk us through the initial category that you selected when you submitted your application, and perhaps how WSA Malaysia and I helped you think through why that change of category was important.
Sure. So when we first applied, we were under the healthcare category. So our business is in the industry of healthcare, and therefore it's been very natural for us to see ourselves as a platform that contributes towards better health, contributes towards access to health. But in reality, what we do is that we improve the efficiencies of hospitals, we improve the access to income of clinical staff. And Renu, you in particular was able to sort of share with us that you found us quite suitable, seen from an urbanization solution, and that was indirectly what we were always thinking of, but we could never pinpoint it specifically as urbanization. So from a business angle, we've always seen ourselves being more popular in main cities, and the reason for that was because we always knew there was higher volume of jobs in cities, and there was a higher pool of staff in cities that were looking for this kind of flexible work. In a lot of smaller, more rural areas, the kind of staff that we will find there are people who are quite comfortable in full-time roles. They are not looking for this kind of job. So when positioned initially as a smart settlements and urbanization solutions, I remember being quite resistant to it initially. I felt like this was quite different from how we had seen ourselves, because we were seeing ourselves as a healthcare solution. But the more we spoke, the more it became evident that, actually, maybe we should have thought about it this way all along, because it is true that in urban areas, there is a higher demand for healthcare. It's true that in urban areas, that's more inconsistency. There's also a higher pool of staff who are more interested in this sort of like freelance, part-time sort of work. And also the demands of income is much higher. So that's when we saw ourselves really being able to meet some of the SDG goals that sat within this section. And probably even better, because now we realize that, yes, as a productivity solution, this is what we do. We improve access to income. We improve more equality because we reduce discrimination when they choose jobs on our app purely based on merit. And we also saw that the needs of urbanization, which is this ability to scale up and down solutions, is something that not so much healthcare, but more of cities need this. And I think you were very helpful in talking through the entire application with me, sort of asking me the right questions to help us, number one, agree to the category change, and number two, have the confidence that we can actually succeed and thrive in a category we've never considered ourselves in prior to this.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of also the same case with Willie and Audrey, if I remember correctly.
I can't remember what I applied originally.
I think it was inclusion and environment, inclusion.
Yeah, but actually business and commerce is more accurate. Yeah.
Yeah, and Willie also, I think, was an inclusion, right? Your original application. So I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight that, is that I think sometimes startups kind of identify themselves in the industry that they're in, and also perhaps in the outcomes, so for Audrey, for you, it was more of inclusion of all of the beneficiaries, like the refugees and things like that, and you were enabling them. So that was where your mind went initially. And the same for Willie, it was inclusion for all of the farmers, because you were actually supporting them, as opposed to environment, which is quite a scary category, I guess, because you will be up against people that are doing alternative energies and agriculture and things like that. So I guess what we can see from all of this is that keep an open mind in terms of the categories. Don't be fixated on what you think you are doing, and I'm really glad that all three of you put in a lot of effort to actually make a difference in terms of how you submitted your application. So let's go perhaps more in terms of what's next, right? So how do you hope or see that WSA is going to help you either get a better understanding of what solutions are out there, or grow your business, or even for that matter, grow the impact that you're doing? How do you see that as something that you want to move forward in? Willie, can we start with you perhaps?
Yeah, sure. So I think that for me, WSA have been is an international platform. It's a well-recognized platform that we can find that to work together with our it could be a potential business partners, collaborators, investor, even government agency or international organization, right? So that be not only just in Malaysia but around the world. I think that's something that not only just growing my business but also bringing more impact, or magnify the impact that I have so far. I think that for my case, actually, is like sometimes for my case a bit different is that even though I have my system is still, another word is brick and mortar, right? So even though we have digitalized solution, but we are all combined into one. So it's very crucial that we have a right platform. I believe that WSA is the right platform for me to connect with others outside, so that we can break the geographical barriers, to reach out to other countries or even other potential business partners that can continuously to build our impact. Because our ultimate mission is to build a global, sustainable, circular economy for the long-term future, right? So I think that's something that we are looking for, that the opportunity for us to grow business, build the impacts, and also build the circular economics.
Good, because I think really going to India for the Global Congress in April will actually give you that opportunity, because all of the top 5 in each category will actually get the opportunity to do your 5-minute pitch. And what I've seen in the past is that the attendees come from over 100 countries, and each one of them is sitting and listening and thinking, oh, this is something that we have as a problem in my country also, and this is a solution that actually might work for my country. So that is something that you'll get, and so thank you for saying that. Tiffany, what about you?
I think the community aspect of this whole thing seems very exciting. It's not always that you get an opportunity to sort of meet other founders and also meet people who are so actively involved in the business that we're all willing to set the time aside to kind of apply for this and then make the trip later on to India and then share about all of that. I think that to me sounds incredibly exciting. And essentially what I am looking forward to the most is As a business, we naturally want to think about scaling, and internationalization has always been sort of this aim for us for the past 2 years. I think the opportunity to go overseas, meet other companies who are maybe in a similar space, who want to attract a similar impact, gives us a chance to meet potential partners. Already, even in the WSA call before the Vienna jury, we were actually in the holding room, and I was having a conversation with some of them, and they were already saying that, oh, maybe we can do this together in Nepal, maybe we can do this together in etc., whichever country they were from. And that was just 10 minutes together in a room. So I'm looking forward to what that could be like when we're there for 5 days together, and then potentially what else could happen, especially as we continue the communication, maybe in groups later on.
Nice. And I've actually seen that happen last year at the Global Congress. Audrey.
Yeah, for me, I'm a little bit like Tiffany as well, looking forward to join the community. I feel that it can be a lifelong connection with the community of WSA. And also for our experience, our personal experience for GoBarca, it's not really the person that you meet directly that opens doors to their business or partnership. It's always the person that they introduce us to. Oh, I know this family or this foundation that can use you. So we get a lot of referrals from communities of accelerators, communities like WSA. They're very happy to connect each other. I mean, me too. I mean, I'd be very happy to. I mean, I talk about WSA impact startups as well for people who I meet that can be relevant to, say, Willie or Tiffany. I mean, it's a community play. I feel. I mean, I help you, you catch my back. So I mean, the more quality the community is, better. I feel that WSA is quality, the startups. So it's a good thing to invest in terms of time and also networking. So for me personally, I look forward to more active engagement in the WSA community. That means the network can also help each other, not just business, sometimes ideas exchange. We like talking to other startups, not just in a formal setting, also informal setting. There's a lot of ideas to exchange. Yeah, so I look forward to a quality community, WSA. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the difference between WSA compared to any of the other startup communities is that because everyone is entrenched in impact, and you know what it is you want to do to change the world, you started off with that in mind. And whether it's the jurors or whether it's other winners or whether it is aspects of how your solution can actually be relevant in other countries, it puts you on a I suppose even playing field where everyone is on the same mindset, of changing the world and making the world a better place and solving a problem passionately. And that problem actually relates to either social or environmental impact. So the ground level you start with already is like everyone is feel good factor.
Yeah.
So we're coming to an end. And one of the reasons why I said we were doing this introduction to all of you and also as a congratulations was because we want to actually launch the WSA 2025 call. And I think it would help anyone interested in actually submitting an application, or even for some of the nominating partners, to actually understand from your perspective one piece of advice that you can give a potential applicant. What would that be? Let's start with Tiffany.
I think when we prepare our application, the questions can seem rather overwhelming. It is important to think about our business as truly a solution to a particular problem, and that will probably improve our chances of answering more specifically. It's very tempting to write what we sell, what we do, but I think the why of what we're doing and how we have helped people within the space that we are in, it makes a big impact in the response.
Very good. So don't just focus on the what, but the why and the how as well. Great. Willie.
Okay, from my point of view, I think it's very crucial that because when you prepare the submissions, right, it's very important that you don't know who are the one who gonna read your submissions. They might not come from the same background, right? So how you gonna use your words? Don't be too technical. But on the other sense, also make people understand that what you are doing and also why you are doing that and what kind of outcome that you can propose. I think that's very crucial because we are actually prepared the submission for everyone that come from diverse background. It's very crucial to let everyone understand. It's another word of storytelling, but this one is more like a story writing. I think that is a very crucial thing to for the submission. That's something I also experienced a lot when I deal with Proficial and Menuka on that.
Yeah, so that is very, very good advice, Willie, because the WSA is assesses the applications based on what's been written, and you really don't know the background of the person who's assessing it. So everybody must understand the story if they read it for the first time. Excellent advice. Audrey, what about you?
I very much agree with Willie. I think as a startup founder, it's always insight looking out. So now you're talking to people who's probably assessing hundreds of applications. They probably, I mean, in business, I believe in this. You have 5 seconds to talk about what your elevator pitch, if you will. So the advice is very good. You have to be very concise and assume that they're like total laymen. But at the same time, personally, I feel that because a part of my background also, I deal a lot with impact people, if you will. So they have a different way of thinking compared to so-called investors or capitalists. So I always, as I mentioned earlier, I always consider who I'm talking to, who are the juries. So impact communities think a bit differently. So you need to be layman, but yet not too simplistic that you lose the nuance of what you try to do with your business. Because for us, people mistake us for just another e-vouchering platform. That's easy. So if we're not careful, if it's too simplified, you lose that secret sauce, if you will, the nuances, that is the impact that people don't immediately recognize unless they're in impact. So those are the things. You need to be not too simplistic, not too complicated, but yet remember they don't know your business. So that balancing act is, I think, probably why we're all here. I mean, why we advance to the final stage is like doing a thesis of some sort. Yeah, but need to know how to sell it at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think what I got from that, from your advice, Audrey, was more of, I think a lot of people create generic pitch decks or have generic answers to
Yeah.
what they assume the question is, and that does not make winners, right? So I think each of you took a lot of time to actually think and rethink and redo your applications many times over. So that I think is very good advice, which is consider who is your audience, and then submit accordingly. Well done. I couldn't have said it better myself. So I want to say another big congratulations to all of you. I think your effort has paid off. And even though the WSA does not give you a monetary prize, so to speak, I'm so glad that each of you articulated the non-monetary aspects of things that you actually got out of the WSA and why it's important for impact-based startups. So thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and telling everyone what you do and how to win and how to become a winner. We're going to be opening the nominations for WSA 2025 fairly soon. So stay tuned for that, and perhaps click on the link below when we will make those announcements for you to put in your nominations. Thank you, guys. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Official WSA Malaysia.